Yeah.
Mel, you got 5:30? Good evening, everybody. It is 5:30 p.m. and we will call a city council meeting for the city of Choteau to order. Those present will stand and do the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight here at City Hall, we have a full slate of council members. I have Councilwoman Kokoli, Councilman Howard, Councilman Doyakos, Councilman Murja, Clerk Rogers, Jody's here, and Deputy Clerk Tom Fraunfelder's here. In the crowd, I have Harold Yeager. I have Kathy Muscatello, like the wine. I wasn't going to do that. And Melody from the Achianta. First item on the agenda this evening would be the approval of the minutes from the city council meeting of July the 12th.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilman D and a second from Councilwoman Kokoli. Any changes or corrections? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone heading out of state?
Any direct flights to Antarctica?
Huh?
Any direct flights to Antarctica?
No.
Not
Someplace
yet.
cool? Nope.
I'm on standby for
Fire?
Uncle's funeral.
Oh, okay, yeah, I should have known that. I am heading out, but it won't be until after our next meeting. I'll be gone September 2nd through the 5th. And I'm open for entertainment options in Jackson's Gap, Alabama. And then I'll be gone on September 10th through the 14th as I'm going back to represent the state of Montana at the Cancer Society of America's Cancer Action Network Day of Lobbying at Washington, D.C. I'm going to go back and testify in front of the Senate and the House on cancer survivors and things like that. So I will miss no meetings. I come back the day before and we'll get back, so I won't miss any, but I'll remind you guys of that as we get closer. We have no unfinished business. First item on new business tonight would be the reading of ordinance 317, and this is a building code amendments. As crazy as it sounds for us here in rural America, we are required to adopt and adhere to the building codes that everybody else is required to adhere to. We have to follow the same steps. We have to follow the same processes and adopt them into our daily repertoire. So I am not going to bore people with reading this into the record. They are here at City Hall if you'd like to come see them. But these install the newest items in the building codes, repeal some of the older ones that are in there. There's a severability clause in there. There's a savings clause in there. And there's an effective date of when these take effect. We were given notice of these on the 10th of June, 2022. No, 6th of June, we were given notice. And we have 90 days from the receipt to adopt these codes and get them into our repertoire.
Do we know of anything glaring that's changed?
I have not read International Building Code 2021 edition, hereby referenced as ARM 24.301.131 or 1.5 I'm going to defer to the plumbing contact on my left in hopes that he might have had or knows of any substantial changes in these that would affect his line of business and therefore would have a detrimental effect on the city of Choteau.
Point of order before we move on too far. Should we make a motion so we can discuss it?
Correct. I would entertain a motion to,
I'll move that we accept the, or that, yeah, we accept the first reading.
I have a motion from Councilman Murja to accept, to open the, Jody, would this be just the reading of the first reading? That's all right.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay, now Councilman Howard, enlighten us.
So all these codes are renewed every 3 years,
Right.
and then it takes a year for them to publish. So you'll notice we're adopting all the 2021 codes.
Yes, I saw that.
I find it, the changes are minimal. There's usually just verbiage. The biggest things they've changed over the last couple of years, the biggest one I know of, they changed our seismic zone category here. So hurricane clips, earthquake anchors, stuff like that on the building codes. It comes down to affect the plumbing too, and like the water heaters have to be strapped to the walls where they didn't used to have to before. So get the shaking, it's due to the natural gas, tip over, break a gas line, stuff like that.
Okay,
So it's all pretty standard stuff. It's mostly language if they decide there's some better way to build. They put it into the codes and basically, like you say, we have to have them. So it's not like we're gonna be able to change their mind or do not. So there's usually any huge significant changes. I usually get stuff mailed to me.
okay.
Other point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Someone did just jump into the meeting.
I heard the click. I didn't know where it came from. Thank you.
Yep.
I'll come back to that. Any additional comments?
And basically, all of these codes are just designed for safety.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Thank you. So since this is a first reading, okay, I would accept a motion to, those in favor of the first reading,
Aye.
opposed? The first reading of ordinance 317 has passed. We will deal with it again. It will be on our agenda on the 16th as well. Welcome to the meeting, Mr. McGuire from Sweetgrass Development. Sorry,
It's actually Sarah. I know.
I know you threw me a curveball. Sorry, Sarah.
It's okay.
She still works for them?
She's still, I'm not even entertaining that question.
She can't hear me.
Item number 2, vote on the Port Authority Board appointment. This is to appoint Steve D. to the Port Authority Board.
I don't see his arm twisted behind his back, so I'll move that we appoint Steve Delaco's back to the Port Authority Board.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilman Merja and a second from Councilman Kokoli. Questions, comments? You want a lifeline?
This is the second 5-year.
Yeah.
I'm getting my second 5-year term.
Okay.
No, are there there are no term limits? There are no.
No term limits, but there is a 5-year
Right,
term.
right.
We'll have to renew it as the council, but the Port Authority itself in 5 years. So,
Okay.
approved for 10 years.
Questions, comments from anyone in the public? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome back. No one leaves the firm. He
I do
abstained,
abstain, yep.
yes. T-bid appointment. This is to reappoint Tom Fraunfelter to the T-bid board.
I move we approve the appointment of Tom Fraunfelder to the T-bid board.
I have a motion. This is a 3-year term. I have a motion from Councilman D,
I'll second.
a second from Councilman Coley. The B-17 was a little slow there, Councilman.
Yeah. well, Takes a minute.
I moved.
Comments? I'll give you a lifeline out there, Thomas.
And this is your third 3-year term, is that correct? Pretty close to something. Yeah.
Starting my third.
Yep.
term.
Any other questions or comments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome back, Mr. Tom. Claims. You have the claims list for you from July.
Pay the bills. Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Howard to pay the bills and a second from Councilman D. Now, we don't have all of our claims in yet, you guys, and it's an early one of the month, and do you want, we'll probably be emailing you out some claims here this time next week, if not sooner, to try and get all the city bills paid that have come in.
Yeah.
Okay. I will tell you that on our next meeting, it's going to be heavy. So. You see in here, there's some meter parts and some stuff from Ferguson. Slowly, the meters are coming, much slower than they said they were going to be coming. So it's raising some consternation. So
This is beyond the, I mean, I don't know if this is out of order. Feel free to tell me to wait and ask later, but lost my train of thought, so never mind, I'll ask you later.
they've been slowly getting out what we can get in. We're waiting for parts on some things. We have transmitters. We don't have antennas. We got antennas. We were missing other parts.
I remember now. Is this still the kind of beta test, or is this the full rollout and they're just dragging their feet on getting this stuff?
Would it be wrong to say it's a beta rollout? Because it's a combination thereof.
Okay. Just curious if we're still in like the,
We have 10 of them installed and functioning,
okay,
and so that now it's.
now we're just waiting for everybody else then. Okay.
And we've had
Phases, we're in phases.
phases, thank you, yes. Beta phase 2.0.
There you go.
Gotcha. So, any additional questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's it for our new business. Quick, like, Harold, you got anything for us tonight? Zoning is going at a painstakingly slow pace, and we will pick that up. Now, I had sent some questions out to the leagues of cities and towns and to Jerry Grabanski at Great West, who was helping us with our zoning. Rumor has it that the legislature is going to change some, thank you.
Much nicer
I'm
than
trying
I
to be
did.
politically correct here. It's going to, they believe that the issue with Montana's affordable housing and growth in Montana is coming from restrictive red tape at local levels. So Governor Gianforte put together his housing blue ribbon committee to review these things and that. And we know that Senator Hertz from Polson is putting together some legislation to address, for lack of a better term, what they deem to be local red tape. So Choteau, our zoning will change and it's going to become easier. And by easier, I mean, we're not going to have 8 zones. No, I don't have that up. We'll probably have 4 zones. Sitting here in this office, I see the biggest thing that's holding back our building is the floodplain. Most of the buildable land that we've got has already been either built or owned. And so people got to decide what they want to do, and what's in the floodplain and the changes we're hearing that are coming from FEMA and the federal government are going to make it nigh on impossible to build a home inside an A flood zone anymore. So,
is there any truth to the rumor that they're doing away with the mitigation where you can build out of?
I have not heard that yet.
Okay. I know that when I talked to Paul Wick, I want to say 3 years ago, it was his concern that they would do away with that, where we wouldn't be able to do like what Dave and Becky Larson did and build up out of it, because it would change the flow.
I'd heard rumors to that, but I have not heard any more truth to that, because they say if somebody raises their property to get out of it, you've changed the flood zone into somebody else's property who potentially was out, and now you're putting them in. So I have no idea.
Right.
That's stuff that's coming out of Washington, DC. I believe when we're all said and done, and we've got public hearings to go, we're going to have a residential zone. We'll have a central business zone, a business residential zone, and what's that? A mixed use one, which would, which would it consist of an industrial type use thing. Having 2 residential zones is crazy, 4 business zones, an industrial zone, and an adult use zone. And whether we want to do it or not in our zoning, we will have to address recreational, adult use marijuana facilities. Because we're better off to be proactive and have it on the books than be reactive and have to go back and change it. So
Right now, they're prohibited.
we are, because we're a red county. Yeah.
We're prohibited from allowing businesses to sell recreational marijuana.
Correct.
The county as a whole.
Correct.
And then the city of Choteau also has zoning on the books that precludes medical marijuana sales as well. State that all
Federal.
businesses within the city limits of Choteau must comply with all applicable state standards.
Yeah.
State and federal laws.
Mm.
Well, it was just that the city, anything that takes place within the city limits will follow state and federal laws.
Yeah. But now medical marijuana and recreational adult use, I can't use recreational marijuana. Adult use are both approved in the state.
But not federal.
No, I know that.
And
So,
that's where, I mean,
and you know, sooner or later it's coming.
So the city can't make that
No,
recreational marijuana sales.
no, we cannot. I would not want to do that.
The voters.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, no one has come and asked about doing that yet. I had more people come and want to make sure that it actually was the way it is currently, that it was prohibited. So know that. Anybody from the council got any tidbits for us? Have at it, Councilman Howard.
The gas construction behind the library,
Yes.
they tore a piece of that sidewalk up. Okay, I didn't really hit Tom on this day, but part of the ADA thing was to make that or
That was the
access
ADA.
ADA
Yep.
upgraded, and it's maybe not quite the time, but rather than have them replace that right now, I didn't get a chance to talk to Mike about it, but
Have
we
them-
could slope that.
when they replace it.
We
have
kind
it.
of have a plan.
Okay.
On that one anyhow, we could maybe just, now might be the time just to, if there was money, just to do that little piece of it, just the concrete part of it.
And that gas.
So
lines-
basically, we would be ramping, we'd be taking away about a 6 3/4 inch step, something like that. And we'd slope it all the way across the alley.
Okay, that gas line is going all the way up to Rex, it's behind the bank. Before they're done.
So I talked to the guy, kind of put him on hold until I talked to everybody. So don't fix that just yet.
Gotcha.
So
That'd be,
I just driving by there today and it dawned on me, so that it's part of our long-term plan,
now is the time.
so it might be.
Okay.
But I didn't get a chance to talk to Mike about it today.
And you've seen, you know, Mike's not here tonight, those guys have been rolling, but over here at the Legion, they put in new sidewalks. We added another drain on the north side of that crossing. And come to find out that the drain on the west side from the post office that ran that way, that line had been cut underneath the street. And so that's why they were there yesterday digging up there and fixing that line. They've been over in your neck of the woods, fixing a French drain over there that they found, and they've actually found an additional line over there that they weren't sure. And it was running at max capacity. So they are also, you can see where they dug on Main Street there by the courthouse. And they are going to effectively move north about 20 feet and start over again.
they're looking for that.
They're looking for a leak. That line, when they dug that up, was dry.
We got one at the museum too, we kind of
Yeah,
were tracing out.
I'd heard that as well. So we're playing whack-a-mole still with water leaks. Councilman Merja?
I don't have anything
Councilman D.
Lions Club still selling their trip of the month tickets, help support the pool.
I bought my non-winning ticket already.
Perfect. If you want to buy another one, I'm sure we can sell you one. Sales are a little slow this year, so we're gonna try and beat the bushes and drum up a few more sales. If you're watching from, if you're new to the community, feel free to get a hold of me or one of the Lions Club members if you're not sure what I'm talking about. I'd love to tell you about it and why it's a good idea for you to buy a trip of the month ticket. And also on the chamber note, we're not going to have a general membership meeting in August. So,
You have a board meeting, that's
we
correct?
will have a board meeting. Yeah.
That's
That's
it?
it.
Okay, with everything going on in August here in Choteau, people, Sarah,
What?
Councilwoman, I asked if you had something. Did I not?
You didn't, but it's okay, you can go.
No, neighbor,
You
go.
first. I don't really have too much. I think that the fire hydrants that have been painted look really nice. So who painted the one on our corner?
Julie Brantley.
Because I saw Mr. Our neighbor.
Oh, the guy, our
He,
neighbor.
like, wire brushed it
Yeah.
and was sanding it. It looks nice.
Julie Brantley offered to paint our fire hydrants and we purchased the paint and stuff and she does a volunteer job, but she let us know last week that she's got too much to do the rest of the summer, so she's not going to get through the rest of them. I don't know if Public Works will get to them or not. And again, it goes back, our fire hydrants all red, so it goes back to the gallons per minute that they're capable of pumping for the ISO for the different colors on top of that. I just noticed that when I've been painted too, to tell you the truth.
Seeing some progress on the wagon wheel quarry.
Oh, I was
over
waiting for
there.
that.
That's been making me a little happy.
I was waiting
A
for you
little
to-
happy, but.
I was waiting for you to say something about building codes and that.
No, I can't even go there. It's progress. Is the intent of the sidewalk by the Legion to be slant parking? on
Yes,
both
it'll be
sides?
angle parking going forward.
Okay,
Get more cars in
Get more cars in.
there, customers.
And we're waiting to get the rest of that paved till we have some other stuff to get done.
Speaking of paving, the paving over by, they did at the dollar store, that they're fixing the street. It's very nice.
Yes.
Month of August, the bank's got a school thing.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
11 to 3.
Several other businesses, Rocky Mountain Insurance, the Booster Club, Alluvian, Big Sky AC, the Log Cabin. We've had Levitt Insurance Group have all matched up. We're going to do a stuff the bus for school supplies out there. On August 20th, we're going to have a community potluck in the fair, in the park, and they're putting together some other events as a fundraiser for the Ukrainian folks, try and raise some money for those folks that are going through some more efforts over there. And that is going to be on August 20th. And so with everything that's going on for the month of August, I made a proclamation that the month of August 2022 will be known as Choteau, Montana's Month of Giving. And on the 20th, they're asking for folks to do if you're going to do a garage sale, please do a garage sale August 20th and think about donating some or not all your proceeds to the fundraiser for the Ukraine. The potluck in the park will be, if you want to, come on down, bring a dish, bring a dessert, bring a drink. If you're not in the cooking mood or cooking mode, bring an appetite. We'll make sure that there's food there for folks. Bring refreshment. They're talking about having some cornhole stuff, some other games to be played and things like that. It's kind of a day of getting everybody together. And that's the Saturday before the Choteau Invitational Volleyball Tournament, which leads us into school starting. Teachers report the 29th, students report the 30th, if I'm not mistaken. So 20th is Saturday, third Saturday. Other things on my mind are, I love my dog. I love dogs. Dogs are furry, dogs are friendly, but dogs are driving me to Betty Ford. And it's a struggle. And at some point in time during this tenure, I would hope that we have time to address some of the changes that need to be made in our dog codes. Dollar store looks good. Like I said, the paving looks good. They've got staff on board. They're loading up and their opening date is,
11.
that's what I thought was August 10th or 11th. I thought they said they were gonna go. There was, actually, I shouldn't say heard from the Department of Transportation today about some handicap spots on Main Street that were being painted and were not to be painted. And I'll reach out to that business tomorrow and let them know that Department of Transportation will be in to take care of that on Friday and clean those up. There was a missing highway sign on Main Street, a missing handicap sign in front of Pivot that they had no idea about. Someone had turned the stop sign at the corner of Second and Main Avenue to face Main Avenue. So people who didn't know any better were stopping at that intersection by the bank, Pivot Bank, and then stopping again down at the stoplight because somebody had literally turned the sign. We couldn't turn the post. We had to go over there and unscrew the sign and turn it back the right direction. So somebody had done that.
I would have never done
No, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have either.
it. Harold will vouch for it.
Sheriff said never got in trouble, right? Like never.
I would say that we've been getting great reports from people who've stayed at the park. Our Google reviews
Yeah.
of the park have been outstanding.
All our city facilities are getting really good reviews.
Yes.
Ones that I'm aware of.
As we get ready to look at the 16th, we will have the second reading, public hearing on the building ordinances. We will open our public hearing on our budget, and Jody and I will have pretty much that will be wrapped up and ready to go to present. We're waiting on some additional numbers from fire department and one other thing we got to check on. We did get a preliminary estimate on what our mill levy is doing, correct? And our mill, what's that?
It's the official from the state. We got that last night, about 4:30 yesterday.
And our,
And then we'll go about the total amount that we actually would be able to levy more this year than last year is $9,800. About $56. With the 1.78 cost of living increase, it actually will end up that we'll be able to levy about 9,800 and some more this year than last year.
okay.
How's bowling doing?
We have our substantial completion walkthrough on Thursday, if you're free or relatively inexpensive.
Awesome. Yeah, I might do.
I have a meeting tomorrow with Colette from Great West and two of the other entities for other water project. And it is our hopes to be going to bid for water here shortly. Jody's over there cringing that I was going to give a date, and I'm not going to give a date.
I don't know the date.
Yeah, we don't know the date because we're waiting for some final approval from RD on things, but and we've been around looking at stuff for bowling. They've got some touch-up work to do, some alleys, some fences, some dirt to clean up that they have not gotten back around to, but the lion's share of reports we got from people where they were very pleased with how things went, how they were to deal with. Especially Bruce Lahan's crew has been very easy to get along with and very good to get along with. So,
Speaking of water, Mr. Mayor, any updates from the water master?
no, the water master just asked that we would voluntarily go to watering on days that end with your address. So if you're an even number, water on even days. If you're an odd number, water on odd days. And again, if you're on a well, you're not expected to do this, but it would be nice if you'd just fall in and help out.
He was asking everyone not to water between the hours of
10 and 6, yeah. And that's,
I think it's just good common sense in general.
yeah, and that's something from MSU Extension as well. Watering during those hours is,
I was going to suggest to the council that you provide him with Mike Maple's regular water reports, because he was under the impression that the city pumps and uses 10 million gallons a month. Which we don't. We pump that much.
yeah.
But we only use 30% of it. And so he was basing his request on that volume of water.
See, he never mentioned that to me.
Well, because I asked him, I said, do you want us to say? And he's like, well, you use 10 million.
No.
gallons." And I said, no, I think that's what we pumped. And he said, no, that's what you use.
No, and he had a conversation with Mike after he talked to me too. 'cause Mike-
Jody gave me the January through April stats, which I think are the most recent stats.
Yes.
we have.
Mike said I'll update stats for us next meeting.
I sent that PDF to him, but I think maybe just as a routine matter, he should get that, so he's not. thinking he's 3 point something.
I would also ask if there's a council member available who might want to sit on the North Montana Joint Refuge Disposal District Board of Directors.
When are their meetings?
Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. at the landfill.
And I don't know if they can zoom them in, I don't know.
They do have a dial-in option.
We as a community have been derelict in our duties of having someone present at those boards since before, they were. Mike was supposed to go and Mike, no. So that's something to think about, and we'll discuss that at our next meeting as well.
They will be doing their budget adoption. At their next meeting. It's the second Thursday.
So it'll be on the 11th. Harold, anything else? Miss Kathy?
Yes, I was glad you brought up about furry critters.
Uh,
Because as Stuart knows,
Point of
and
order.
the September 2016, I
Will you-
was bit by a dog.
Kathy, will you come up to the
Podium.
podium so that they could see you on the camera, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Stuart was the only one on the council at the time when that happened, September 2016, when I was bit by a pit bull. Right here. I got 6 stitches. I was riding my bike and I brought pictures which you passed around, if you remember Sturgeon. They took over at the hospital. And Melody wrote an article in the Acampa newspaper about it. She wanted to do that. She asked me and I said, yeah, as long as it's good for everybody's well-being that lives in the city of Choteau, that wouldn't get attacked by a dog when they're walking or riding their bike, which I was doing. So I wanted to say that 6 years ago this September, and I'm glad that you passed, that there's going to be a stiffer offense the second time. That, what was it you were going to do at the second offense?
We're following the rules, and a lot of it's up to the judge these days. Our rules are so antiquated. It says that we have a dog catcher, that we can compound, that we can take somebody's dog and impound their dog. We don't have that authority. We don't have that ability to do it anymore.
You don't have a dog catcher.
No, we don't have dog pound.
Facility.
Yeah.
To keep them.
Yeah. So it is something we've got to look at, and we considered, and I sat down with the city judge, JP Rasmussen, and we were trying to figure out a way that I here at City Hall could take care of those animal complaints before they go to him, but it's just right now, there's no way I can do it. I don't have the knowledge, the skills, or the ability to sit down and weigh through what I can do and what I can't do as far as fines are concerned. So the last 2 citations that were sent out, or requested to be cited, were sent over to Jen, and Jen, our city attorney on the criminal side, is taken care of. Jennifer Stutz.
Oh, okay. The reason I came is because I saw that in the campus article about your last council meeting, and it was long, everything with the pay raises
Mhm.
and with everything else and with the dogs. And I went, well, good, finally, after 6 years, maybe something's gonna be done. Because I'm gonna tell you, this dog bite, I still have pain off and on in this arm when I turn a doorknob or when I move over the shower curtain, all because that dog that was not on a leash, it was a pit bull, and I'm riding my bike, which I had a right to do, on the road down south of town, and it was like it came racing out of that yard like a missile. And I knew this dog was different than any other dog that I came across. I knew it wasn't gonna enter the kid. because it can, I put my arm down to protect my leg because I need to walk. I
Yeah.
have to walk every day. But the arm still bothers me after 6 years. And I was glad that article was in the Acampa newspaper. And I'm sure Stuart remembers the pictures that they took at the hospital, what my arm looked like with fluid and everything, because it was this way. Doug Casperson, he says to me, well, if you wanted to kill yourself, he said, you want to go that way. There was no blood. It was just fluid and
Tissue,
cells.
yeah.
And when I asked for 2 aspirin and a glass of water when I got there, he said he was good with stitches. I said, but I still want 2 aspirin and a glass of water before you start. It took 15 minutes to flush this out with soapy water and then clear. And then he had to do the stitches inside and out. They were in for 10 days. But it was like, I would, and then who was the boy that was bit over by pivot on the face?
I never heard.
And they never found out whose dog it was. It was a big black dog
I don't know. That never came across my desk. That would have gone right to the sheriff's office.
right in town. Yes, and it was in the log. And it was interesting because it was a big black dog that they described it as in the sheriff's log.
No, our dogs, the dog issue, Kathy, is going to be the bane of my existence
Good.
because
I'm glad.
certain people care more about their dogs than their kids. So the fight will be on when we try to do anything with dogs. Know that. It's not gonna be a simple process.
No.
It'll be a very contentious process.
Until someone bites a member of their family, the ones that let their dogs loose, people that walk their dogs in the city on a leash, their dogs are getting attacked by loose dogs.
I know.
And that's not fair.
No, I appreciate the input and I will keep you in the loop on that.
Okay,
Thank
that's why I'm here.
Nope, I'm glad you came.
It's too long now, 6 years. I mean, that's why I'm here. 6 years this arm has proved.
I got you.
Get my medical records.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Miss Converse, I see you sitting out there. You want in?
Hello, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. It's about time I showed up at one of your meetings, though it's virtually. So I accept that, totally my fault. I'm going to give you my 90-second update. First, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to ask if you would be so kind as to sit on our strategy committee for our 5-year plan. We will have one meeting virtual and some documents, but I will email you. Having said all of that, we are going to be starting our 5-year planning process. We're doing something completely different this time. We're going to have pop-in meetings at local businesses all through the region. And hearing your discussion of the fundraiser on the 20th, I will talk to our consultants. It's something we may be able to monetarily participate in and maybe sponsor beverages or something of that sort. If we can get some surveys in people's hands, that would be great. We are doing the public outreach first. Before we talk to the people in the know, such as yourselves, we want to get that information first. The other great news is we received information today, I did from our board, that we are going to be hiring a grant writer, grant administrator. So I'll be talking to Councilman D and Kappa, the chamber. If you know of anyone who wants to write some grants, get paid for it, and do that type of thing, we will be hiring soon. Cascade County is trying to hire, a variety of entities are, and it's something that we need to do. So we are going to be hiring, useful for everyone. It's conference season. We're coming up on that. We're also applying for additional brownfield funds for assessment and revolving loan funds. We are still working on a couple properties in Choteau that will be really exciting when we get those done to help with some housing things. Regarding housing, we're in conversations with Sheila Rice, former director of NeighborWorks, to do some kind of different thought processes in our rural areas. I had spoken about it before, maybe a grant loan type program. So people can upgrade their homes to where they need to be, get contractors in each community to do it. That wouldn't be paid back if they sell to low to moderate income individuals. It's perfect timing along with your zoning. And then if it's sold outright for whatever reason, that would just be tacked on at the end when they sell the property. So we will have full ability with that. Sheila's being great. And she's willing to work on other housing issues too. So we have that. We're doing a business Zoom training for live plan and business plans and just basic business information on the 16th. You'll be getting all of this. And we are opening up membership to Sweetgrass Development. It's always been just our 18, 19 member board now with the little shell, but we're actually going to open membership up to anyone who wants to play. We have a nominal cost. I think it's $500 up to communities of 1,000, I believe, or maybe it's 2. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will get that back. And with that, you get grant writing services, and we'll be able to hire more people to work closer in the communities. We've been totally wrapped up in ARPA. You have seen all the infrastructure stuff, and now we're moving on to the business type side and what they're going to be doing with those funds. We have heard some issues about TIFs and TEDs in the upcoming legislature, so we're involved with that. I'm on the Montana Economic Developers Board of Directors, so we're getting a lot of information that way. I think it'd be great for CAPA to maybe be a little more involved with that. So I'm going to come and speak to that. And on a personal note, I spent some time with Jane Woolery 2 weeks ago. I was appointed to the Montana 4-H Foundation Board, which is pretty exciting considering I come from that background and we're doing a lot of work in the region. We're also looking to apply for a tourism grant for local entities, and we'll put everyone's trails on there and things of that sort, camping locally with a QR code that will tie into other trail apps and things within the region. So having said all of that, that's it. And we will be contacting you for our pop-ups in Choteau. We're going to be able to, our consultants will pay for drinks or lunches or whatever for filling out surveys. So that's what we're doing now.
Sounds good. Keep me in the loop,
Yeah.
lady.
I absolutely will. I'll be there Thursday. If you're around, I'll track you down.
I should be here. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir and council. Hello, Jody and Melody from afar.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
If we have nothing else, you guys will adjourn to the 16th.
I move to adjourn.
Thanks, everybody. Good night. Stay cool.